Hey everybody, welcome to Fired Up. Our first video that we did was just, explaining how this channel is going to work. So, welcome to the very first actual edition of Fired Up. I'm going to touch on something today. I'm avoiding the political rhetoric that's going around right now, avoiding anything that has to deal with immigration and control and all that good stuff. We'll get into that in another episode. But before we continue, please remember, share this channel and hit that subscribe button down below. We can get this growing and get more and more people involved, hopefully leading to more open discussions about topics in the world. Great. So, today's topic, we're going to talk about DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, Uber Eats, pretty much the gig economy. What a lot of people assume when they order out and it's delivered through DoorDash is that the driver gets a majority of what you are paying in fees. Let's touch on that. Reality is, DoorDash charges, it's about 50 to 60% of those fees are considered service fee, which DoorDash takes. An additional 20% are other random fees that DoorDash takes. Then they take the taxes out of that. So let's say your order, they charge you $20 for the fees. And your order is, we'll say, $65 or $70. Your driver is going to get what they call a base pay. And the base pay revolves around certain key elements, such as how desirable is the order or the delivery, how many drivers are in the area, just stupid, random things that you don't know about as a customer. So when all is said and done, what you pay as $20 for a fee to DoorDash, your driver is more than likely going to get anywhere from $2 to $4. Maybe. I know this. I've done DoorDash. I've done Lyft. I've done Uber. And the transparency that these companies claim to have is a complete and total lie. And the proof on that one is very simple. I asked a customer what they were charged in their fees and how much they put on as gratuity. It's a regular customer. There was a rapport. So I asked. They pulled up on their phone, on their app, and they showed me. They were charged $11 in fees, and they tipped $10 on the app. Then I pulled up my phone. I got $2 for the base pay, which means DoorDash made $9 off of it. And believe it or not, I only got a $5 tip. So DoorDash stole the tip, which they claim is 100% for the driver. The other thing that they do is if you have a delivery that's going from point A to point B, the same exact delivery, multiple times, So I could pick up from Chipotle and deliver to a doctor's office, and it's the same customer and it's the same order at the same time of day. That customer puts a $7 tip onto that order. DoorDash drops your base pay to $2. If that customer does not put any tip on there, DoorDash gives you like $6 for your base pay, and that's it. So they change the base pay based upon your tips. A lot of drivers prefer a cash tip. That way, these companies do not get their hands on what is supposed to be for the customer or for the driver. Another example of that, I ordered from DoorDash one night, and it was a $75 order. You know, we got a couple meals and had some drinks with it, and after the fees and everything, it wound up being $90. I put a $30 tip on for that driver. When the driver arrived, I asked him, I said, "Can you tell me, what you made on this delivery?" DoorDash gave him $1.75 of the base pay. $1.75. Not even $2. And a $7 tip. Let that sink in for a minute. I tipped him $30. DoorDash gave him $7 of my tip. Where did the other $23 go? In their pocket. Not the driver. Their pocket. And I called and I filed a complaint that the tip was stolen from the driver that delivered our order. And they refunded me $27. $27. They're still stealing $6 more. But whatever. The point I'm making with this, you've got to understand how the industry really works. You should treat your DoorDash delivery orders, your Uber, your Lyft, as you're going out to eat. Now, I know there's some people that, they don't understand how the tipping process works. They figure, oh, you know what? I'm paying for the food and I'm paying for the service and the price of the food, so you can go fuck yourself when it comes to getting a tip. And that's really sad and pathetic. A lot of times, those are the people that have a lot of money and don't comprehend that that is how somebody makes their living, off of tips. Other times, it's just because that's their nature and they're cheap asses. They expect everything to be handed to them. Put yourself in those shoes for once. You are out spending your money on gas, tolls, auto repair, and you think that a delivery fee is enough to pay that driver. That's completely absurd. What we need to do as a society is start taking care of those that take care of us. If you order something to eat and they deliver it to you, give them a cash tip, because cash tips cannot be stolen by the companies that you order from. Cash tips go directly into your delivery driver's pocket, which in turn goes back into your community, because then they are going to spend that money in your community, which only makes sense. You've got to keep in mind that if you order, and let's say your total is, not counting the delivery charges, because that's like tipping on tax. You don't tip on tax. When you go out to eat, if your bill is $23 and the net price is $20, which means you've got $3 in tax, you tip on the untaxed total. You tip 20% on $20, it's a $4 tip. Again, you don't count the tax. So you've got somebody going around, driving la around, and you get a $20 delivery order, not counting the probably $8 at DoorDash or $9 that they're going to charge you. Give your driver a $5 tip in cash. Don't tip them $1 on the app. Don't hand them $1 when they get to the door. Don't put leave at door and not give a tip. That is a huge, huge problem that people think they get away with. I'm not going to leave a tip. I'm not giving the driver a tip, so just go ahead and leave it at my door, because the driver's not going to know that there's no tip until after they complete the order and my food has been delivered. That is probably one of the lowest things you can do. And you should be ashamed of yourself for doing it. Plain and simple. Stick your head in the hole, bend your ass up, and get fucked like an ostrich. That's what you should feel like. Give your driver a minimum $5 tip. If your order comes to $50, give them a $10 tip, minimum. If they're polite and they're friendly and they interact with you and they smile at you, give them an extra $5. That is how they make their money. Not off of the delivery fees, off of your tips. I invite anybody that would like to ask any questions or challenge my statements to please do so in the comments below. And on my next episode, before we address the topic that I bring out, I will answer some of those questions and hope that you tune in for the next episode so that you can hear my answers to some of your questions or my response to your open debate. Because that's what we are aiming for, is to be able to communicate and debate openly about things, not violently. That being said, thanks for watching this episode of Fire Up. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your week. The weekend is upon us. And we'll have a new episode out shortly. Thanks, peeps.